Welcome to our CFP Exam Prep podcast, where we dive deep into essential concepts you need to master. Today, we're exploring qualified domestic trusts, or QDOTs, a critical topic that frequently appears on the CFP exam and often trips up test takers. Let's break down what makes a QDOT unique in the world of estate planning. Think of a QDOT as a special safety net designed specifically for non-U.S. citizen surviving spouses. Unlike regular marital trusts, QDOTs serve a very specific purpose. They allow the estate tax marital deduction that would otherwise be unavailable when the surviving spouse isn't a U.S. citizen. Here's a practical example to help you remember this concept. Imagine John, a U.S. citizen with an estate worth $15 million, is married to Maria, a citizen of Spain. Without a QDOT, if John passes away, his estate would face immediate estate taxes on any amount above the exemption that passes to Maria. However, by setting up a QDOT, the estate can defer these taxes until Maria's death or until principal distributions are made from the trust. Now let's address a common mistake that appears on the CFP exam. Many test takers assume that the decedent can elect to create a QDOT during their lifetime. This is incorrect. The election must be made by the executor of the estate after the decedent's death. The exam often includes this as a trap answer choice, so keep this timing requirement firmly in mind. The trustee requirements are another area where candidates often stumble. The exam might try to trick you by presenting a scenario where all trustees are foreign citizens or corporations. Remember this fundamental rule: at least one trustee must be either a U.S. citizen or a U.S. corporation. This requirement isn't just a technicality. It ensures the IRS can effectively collect any estate taxes that become due. Understanding the income distribution rules is crucial for the exam. The QDOT must distribute all income to the surviving non-citizen spouse annually. However, here's where many test takers get confused. Principal distributions are treated differently. Any distribution of principal from a QDOT triggers immediate estate tax unless it qualifies as a hardship distribution. One subtle point that the CFP exam loves to test is the difference between income and principal distributions. Income distributions are mandatory and not subject to estate tax. Principal distributions, except in cases of hardship, trigger immediate estate tax liability. This distinction often appears in complex scenario-based questions, where you need to determine the tax consequences of various trust distributions. Here's a pro tip for the exam. When you see a question involving a non-citizen spouse and estate taxes, immediately consider whether a QDOT might be the solution. The exam frequently presents scenarios where recognizing the applicability of a QDOT is half the battle. Remember, a QDOT is essentially a tax deferral mechanism, not a tax avoidance tool. The estate tax isn't eliminated. It's simply postponed until either the surviving spouse's death or when principal distributions are made from the trust. This fundamental concept is often tested in questions that ask about the long-term tax implications of various estate planning strategies.